Good evening, all. My name is Arya Anand. I am one of the admin panel members from Edu Skills International. So today we are going to discuss regarding reading part A. So before starting the session, I'd like to thank Father Saleen Joseph for this opportunity, and even all the admin panel members and supporting members for helping us. Thank you all. Today we are discussing regarding reading part A. As you all know, we are focusing only on A grade, not C plus C, D, E and all. It's okay if more than 400. Okay. So we are expecting that. So what is the expected grade, band or numerical score? So if you want A grade, then you need to score 450 to 500, B score, then 350 to 440. Now in reading part A, you have 20 questions. So you need to score at least 80. And our greatest mistake is always we'll target for B grade. That means for 350 we'll target and we'll end up with 340, 330 and 320. So focus on only A grade. Now here, reading part A, we have 4 texts, text A, text B, text C and text D and 1 theme. And you'll get 20 questions and you need to complete within 15 minutes. Okay. And the greatest challenge or enemy is time. So in reading part A, we need to do fast reading or expeditious reading. And reading part A in 10 minutes or maximum 12 minutes, not more than that. So tip 1, begin with a skim. I'll tell you what to skim. Okay. Then focus of each text. So skim for the clues such as title, section headings, subheadings, names, number, percentage, sequential expressions, frequency expressions, scale, adjectives, negative expressions, then abbreviations. This we have discussed in many of the sessions. So I'm not going to explain in detail. And 12 steps to crack reading part A in 10 minutes. So first one is identify 4 text headings and write down on a piece of paper. Understand the relationship and sequence among the 4 text headings. Skim the 4 text, highlight the clues, read the question statement, highlight the hedging words. Okay, first you need to skim the text and highlight the clues. Okay, then you need to know what is the sequence. Okay, you need to write the sequence on your text booklet. It's fine. Then read the question statement, highlight the hedging words. That means the key words you need to highlight or key phrase you need to highlight. Then read the question and match the text. After highlighting the keywords or hedging words, you need to match the text. From which text the particular information from. Then only it can find out the answer very easily. If you don't know the sequence, if you don't know from which text it is, then it will be very difficult to find out the answers. Okay, so you will take one, sometimes you may not take the correct hedging word, then it will be very difficult. Then 6th one is write down the hedging words identified in the questions. So when you are practicing, you can do all these steps, write down the hedging words identified in the question, and you can just arrange for the hedging words into 4 columns. You can just draw 4 columns, text A, B, C, and D. Then you can arrange these words into these 4 columns. From which text this particular word from, according to that, you can just arrange into 4 columns. Then confirm 1 to 7 answers, locate the answers, write the answers in the answer booklet, proofreading, fill the self-assessment form. You need to write the answers in the answer booklet. Proofreading is must. Okay. You must proofread your reading part A because minor spelling mistakes, they will not accept. They'll consider as a wrong answer. Even if it is a single mistake, the answer will consider the wrong answer. Okay, so be careful when you are writing the answers. If you know the spellings also, you just copy and paste it. Okay, just see and write it. Okay, fill the self-assessment form. We have self-assessment form. We are posting it in the Telegram platform. You can just take the printout and you can write it in the self-assessment form. You can just put the date, okay, in that particular date, what score you have got, the same thing you have to mention there. Okay, so you can assess yourself. So we'll move to today's topic, the use of feeding tubes in pediatrics. That is our topic today. So the use of feeding tubes in pediatrics. The first text is pediatric nasogastric tube. So when you will get the reading part A, you need to skim the text. Okay. Skim the text properly. As we have discussed here, titles, section headings, subheadings, any names are there. Names mean anything like body parts name, device, some symptoms, disease condition, whatever it is. Then numbers, percentage, sequential expression, frequency expression, scales, okay, like most, all, more, majority, abbreviations. If you have abbreviations, please align the tools. Fine. So here, pediatric nasogastric tube is the most common, all those things I have mentioned, but only you need to skim, okay? When you're skimming, you can underline nasogastric, then enteral feeding they have mentioned. Okay. Then gastrotomy device is mentioned here that you can underline. Fine. Then issues associated with pediatric nasogastric tube feed. So some of the issues they have mentioned here. Finally, the nasogastric use and issues associated with pediatric nasogastric tube feeding mentioned here. So I just named it as uses and issues. Okay, fine. Now we are moving to text B. Okay, here inserting the nasogastric tube. So here they have mentioned wide bore and fine bore. So two types they have mentioned here, and then the procedure of inserting nasogastric tube. Fine. Here also time they have mentioned every 7 days, then size of the tube 6 French to 10 French, then again every 30 days fine bore, then 6 French. Then they have discussed regarding the insertion of this NG tube. Fine. So this much is enough. So here they have mentioned types and insertion. Okay, insertion of this nasogastric tube. So just named it as insertion. Okay, so you have to understand what it includes. Now, text C. Text C, they have mentioned the post insertion, aspiration, and all. Okay, go through this graph. This is enough. So if aspiration obtained, what are the things you need to follow? If there is no aspiration, what are the things that you need to follow? Okay. You can move to next text, text D, that is administering feeds fluid via a feeding tube. Okay, so the administration of fluids they have mentioned. Administration they have mentioned regarding dietitian they have mentioned. Then you can see here small bulb must be delivered continuously, feeding pump. Okay, feeding pump, there is a name of device is mentioned here, every 6 hours, then every 4 hours. Express breast milk they have mentioned here. All those things you can just underline it. Okay, so this much is enough. Now this is administering feeds. So what is the sequence of this 4 text? It's uses and issues text A, then types and insertion text B. Text C is post insertion, text D is administering feeds. This is the sequence of this particular text. So in reading part A, you need to skim within 2 minutes time, because only we are skimming these things. Pediatric nasogastric tube use, then issues we have discussed. Then again, next text we have discussed regarding types and insertion. Then next one is like post insertion aspiration. Then the 4th one is administering feeds. Fine. So within 2 minutes, you need to complete your skimming. Now you have 1 to 2 minutes time to answer your 1 to 7 questions. Fine. The questions will be like this. Okay. 1 to 7 questions. You need to match the text. Okay. For each question, 1 to 7, decide which text A, B, C, or D the information comes from. You may use any letter more than once. So are you ready to tell the answers?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, those who don't have any background distraction, you can unmute your microphone. Others, please mute. Okay. Now here, the risk of feeding a child via a nasogastric tube.
A.
Okay. We'll see the answer later. Calculating the length of tube that will be required for a patient.
B.
Okay. When alternative forms of feeding may be more appropriate than nasogastric.
D.
Alternative forms of feeding. Fourth one, who to consult over a patient's liquid food requirements.
D.
Okay. Fifth one, the dose. Appearance of the tube. Sixth one, knowing when it is safe to go ahead with the use of tube or feeding.
C.
Seventh one, how regularly different kinds of tubes need to be placed.
B.
B. Fine.
Kinds. Okay, different kinds.
Now we can check the answers are correct or not. Okay, first question, the risk of feeding a child via a nasogastric
A.
tube. So
A.
risk, that means
A.
issues.
Issues.
Here they have mentioned issues. So it's A. Calculating the length of tube that be required for a patient. Okay,
B.
when you will calculate the length of the tube before inserting, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. So insertion. Then when alternative forms of feeding may be more appropriate than nasogastric. Where it will be.
Ma'am,
Alternative
the breast
forms of
milk
feeding.
and all that. Feeding
Right.
pump. Ma'am.
D,
ma'am. A.
Types and
Ma'am, D.
insertion.
Alternative form of
Regarding gastrostomy, where it is alternative forms of feeding.
inserting
What? Nasogastric feeding, right?
first
Yes, in A we have discussed regarding that. I'll show you later where the particular sentence is. Okay. Who to consult over a patient's liquid food requirements.
D.
So liquid food requirements. Yeah,
dietitian.
yes,
Dietitian.
dietitian. The outward appearance of the tubes.
B.
Appearance
B.
of tube.
Type.
Where we have discussed. Yes. Types.
B.
Yes. Knowing when it is safe to go ahead with the use of
C.
a tube for feeding. So
C.
C,
Post
yes,
insertion
after
C.
insertion. Yeah, according to the aspiration, right?
Yes.
Yes. How regularly different kinds of tubes need replacing? Different kinds of tube,
D.
different types of tube where we have
Types.
discussed.
B.
Yes.
Long term, short term B.
So only 1 to 2 minutes is enough, right? For answering 1 to 7 questions. Are you all confident in that?
Yes, ma'am.
Fine. Okay. Now, next one. 8th one. What type of tube? What type of tube should you
Fine bore.
use for patient who need
Fine bore.
nasogastric
Fine
feeding
bore.
for an extended period?
B.
You can
No,
just
fine
tell
bore.
it. Okay. Now, what type
B.
of tube?
B.
Yes.
It's B.
What should you apply to a feeding tube to make it easier to insert? Easier to
What
insert.
B.
Just text B. Yes. What should you use to keep the tube in place temporarily?
Temporarily B.
B. Okay. What equipment should you use initially to aspirate a feeding tube?
C.
Initial aspiration of feeding tube is unsuccessful. How long should you wait before try again? Initial aspiration. C. Yes. How should you position a patient during a second attempt to obtain aspirate?
B.
Aspirate.
C.
Aspirate is pH 5.5.
Aspirate.
Where should you take the patient to confirm the position of the tube?
Wait.
Again, aspirate.
C.
Okay. 15th, what device allows for the delivery of the feeds via the small bowel? Delivery of feeds, that means administering feeds. Next one, 16 to 20. If a feeding tube is not straight, when you unwrap it, you should dash it. So unwrap, when you will unwrap the packet.
B. Insertion.
Right? Yes.
B.
Patients are more likely to experience dash if they need long-term feeding via tube. Okay. Okay, that is a doubt, right? Okay, we'll discuss. Don't worry. If you need to give the patient a standard liquid feed, the tube to use is dash in size of the tube.
B.
You must take out the feeding tube at once if the patient is coughing badly or is experiencing dash. Take out the feeding tube. Insertion. If it is wrong insertion, then you need to take out, right? Yes. If a child is receiving dash via a feeding tube, you should replace the feed bottle after 4 hours. Receiving Now we can check. The first question, you can check. The risk of feeding a child via a nasogastric tube. See here, however, here they have mentioned it is particularly useful in the short term and when it is necessary to avoid a surgical procedure to insert a gastrostomy device. However, in the long term, gastrostomy feeding may be more suitable. Sorry, first one is risk, right? I'm sorry. Yeah,
Yes.
risk. So here the issues associated with the pediatric nasogastric tube feeding. So issues associated, that is the risk, right?
Yes.
Calculating the length of the tube that will be required for a patient. Calculating the length of the tube, where it will be.
Types of
B.
types and insertion. B.
Yeah, here you can see the length of the tube can be marked with indelible pen or not taken of the measurement marks on the tube. Okay, so calculating the length they have mentioned in text B, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Fine.
any doubt in that?
No.
Okay.
No.
When alternative forms of feeding may be more appropriate than nasogastric. Just now I have explained regarding
Yes.
gastrostomy. Okay. Third one. Now fourth one. Who to consult over a patient's liquid food requirements? Who to consult?
Good.
Feeds are
D.
ordered
The dietitian.
referral to the dietitian. So option D is, sorry, text D is the answer, right?
Yes.
Now, fifth question, the outward appearance of the tubes. Again, tubes appearance they have mentioned
B.
here,
It's
right?
B.
Yeah.
Yes, B, no doubt, right. Then, knowing when it is safe to go ahead with the use of a tube for feeding. No,
C.
we can see here, proceed to feed or use tube. Report the result. So knowing when it is safe, we have seen, right? Any doubt in that? Okay. Now, seventh one, how regularly different kinds of tubes need replacing. So you can see here, if it is
Types
a
of
wide bore, use short-term use only, and you have to be changed every 7 days. And if it is long-term use, then you need to change every 30 days. So option B is the answer. So we can move to 8 to 15 questions explanation. Fine.
Yeah.
So first one, what
Yeah.
type of tube should you use for patient who needs nasogastric feeding for an extended period? Extended period, here they have mentioned
Fine
It's
bore.
fine.
Long.
fine bore. And extended period means here
Long
long-term use.
term, long term.
Synonym they have used is for long-term use, extended period. Okay, fine. Now, ninth one, what should you apply to a feeding tube to make it easier to insert? So again, from the text to B only, right?
A water-based lubricant.
Yes, here you can see lubricate the end of the tube using a water-based lubricant. So your answer should be water-based lubricant. See that, check the spelling and write it, okay? Now, next one. What should you use to keep the tube in place temporarily? Again, text. Which text it will be?
B. B.
Text to B. Here, lightly secure the tube with tape until the position has been checked. So after that, you can change until the position has been checked. That means temporarily, right? What equipment should you use initially to aspirate a feeding tube? Okay, what equipment? You need to find out which equipment and aspirate a feeding tube. So it will be in text C. Here you can see aspirate with a syringe using gentle suction. So a syringe is the answer.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so once you have done, please mute your microphone. Okay. Now, 12th one, if initial aspiration of the feeding tube is unsuccessful, how long should you wait before trying again? So aspiration, again, text C you need to move and you need to check how long should you wait before trying again. That means second attempt, right?
15 to 30 minutes.
Yes, wait for 15 to 30 minutes before aspirating again. They have clearly mentioned here. Okay, so 15 to 30 minutes, the same thing you have to write there. Then, how should you position a patient during a second attempt to create which text it is? Aspiration. So, text is C.
C.
So, you can see here, try each of these techniques to help gain aspirate. If possible, turn child or infant onto left side. So, what position? Onto
Side. Left side.
left side. Yes, need to write onto left side. Then, if aspirate exceeds pH 5.5, there should, sorry.
Onto is important to write, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
On to left side.
Yes, on to left side. Now 14th one. If aspirate exceeds pH 5.5, where should you take the patient to confirm the position of the tube? Again, aspiration, text C, right? So you need to check. Here you can see A pH of
X-ray.
between 1 and 5.5 is reliable confirmation that the tube is not in the lung. However, it does not confirm gastric placement. If this is any concern, the patient should proceed to X-ray in order to confirm the tube position. Okay, so the answer will be X-ray. Fine. Now 15th one. What device allows the delivery of feeds via the small bowel? So what device allows delivery of feeds? That means administering the feeds, right? So text, okay, in text D, we can see when feeding directly into the small bowel, feeds must be delivered continuously via what? Feeding pump.
Feeding pump.
Yes. So the answer will be feeding pump. Now, moving to the next 16 to 20. If a feeding tube is not straight when you unwrap it, so we need to move to text B, right? So what you will do usually,
Wrap
you will
cover.
stretch it, right? Yes, check the tube is intact. Okay, check the tube is intact. Then stretch it to remove any shape retained from being packed. If the feeding tube is not straight, when you unwrap it, when you open the packet, if the feeding tube is not straight, usually it will not be straight, right? So you need to stretch it, correct? So here you can see, check the tube is intact, then stretch it, move any shape retained from being packaged. Now, next question. Patients are more likely to experience dash if they need long-term feeding via a tube. So
B.
if you insert a nasogastric tube to a patient, what the patient will experience? The patient will be very happy or very comfortable. Some problems like, right?
Yes.
The patient
Yes, ma'am.
are more likely to experience some problems or issues. So where we need to check. Next day, increase the risk of gastroesophageal reflux with prolonged use. So the answer will be gastroesophageal reflux. Okay, spellings, you should be very careful. If you need to give the patient a standard liquid feed, the tube to use is. So where we need to move?
B.
B. Yes, text B. In general, tube sizes of 6 French are used for standard feeds. If it is a high density feed, then it is 7 to 10. So here our answer is 6 French, right? For standard feeds. If you need to give the patient a standard liquid feed, the tube to use is dash in size. So if you want to give a patient a standard liquid feed, then which type of which size tube you will use? That is the question. Fine. In text B, they have mentioned in general, tube sizes of 6 French are used for standard feeds, 7 to 10 French for high density and fiber feeds. So they have asked us the question for standard feeds, what is the size?
Yes,
it is 6 French, right?
Yes, got it.
Now, if you must take out the feeding tube at once if the patient is coughing badly or is experiencing dash.
Breathlessness.
So after inserting, yes, after inserting, if you are feeling, if the patient is coughing badly or experiencing dash, you may need to take out the feeding tube.
Yes,
Correct.
ma'am.
Here you can see if the child shows signs of breathlessness or severe coughing, remove the tube immediately. Here they have mentioned you must take out the feeding tube first. Here they have mentioned in the final part of the sentence, remove the tube immediately. If the child shows signs of breathlessness or severe coughing, remove the tube immediately. So signs of what? Breathlessness or experiencing signs of breathlessness. That means experiencing breathlessness.
Ma'am, for question 19, why did we move to text B? It is not asking about type of tube. It's about take out the feeding tube.
I'm not saying it's from the types. It's insertion. When you are inserting, if the tube is not correct or if the patient is having some issues, then patient will cough badly or experience the breathing difficulty, right? That you know after insertion only, no? Without insertion, how the patient will cough or how the patient feel breathlessness. So
Okay,
it
ma'am.
is from the insertion, text B.
Yes.
Understand?
Okay, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Now, 20th question. If a child is receiving dash via a feeding tube, you should replace the feed bottle after 4 hours. Okay. So if the child is receiving dash via feeding tube, so it will be from text
D. Express breast milk.
Text will be Yes. Express milk. Feed bottles must be changed every 6 hours or every 4 hours for expressed breast milk.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Any doubt in any
Ma'am,
of the
you made it
questions?
so beautiful. Yes, ma'am. You really beautifully explained this part. Amazing.
Okay,
It was
so
good. No, it's clear. Thank you.
Arya ma'am, can I ask you one thing?
yeah.
On a real exam, we are directly writing this answers in the question booklet.
Yes, question booklet will be like this. Okay. So here will be there, dash will be there. Okay. The line will be there.
We
So
don't
you can
need
just
to
fill it
rewrite
there
it
on the
again.
blank space.
So we don't need to rewrite it. When we
Won't
write
rewrite?
it, we were to write it fair once only. I mean, we are writing only once, not rewriting.
Yeah, you are writing only once, not rewriting on any other paper. The text booklet will be separate and the question and answer booklet will be separate. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
So you can write in the question and answer booklet. There will be space like this. Okay. So like this space will be there. You can just mention A, B, like that. And then 8 to 20, 15 question, it will be like question answer type. So there will be gap like this. Okay. So there will be a gap. So you can write there. And then 15 to 20 questions or 16 to 20 question also like this. There will be gap. You need to fill there. The gap you need to fill. That's it.
Thank you so much. I got it.
Yes.
Ma'am, from your class, I learned if you know the heading of each paragraph, then we can crack this 20 questions within 10 minutes.
If you don't know the headings, then what you will do?
Topics and
Yes, you need to read the sentence, read the first sentence. Okay,
Topics
then you'll understand what it will be. If you don't have headings, okay, you will be competent enough to find out the sequence. If you are an Edu Skills aspirant, definitely.
Ma'am, I would like to ask, no need to read the full passage?
No need to read. If you read the full passage, whether you will get time to complete the task within 15 minutes,
No time. Yes.
no
no
need to
time.
read completely. See, if you are in this text, no need to read completely. When you have a heading here, pediatric nasogastric tube use. Okay, then issues associated here. So under that, definitely they will mention some issues, right? So you can just read this much is enough actually. Then if you, because you have 30 seconds for one text, 2 minutes for the 4 text, right? So 30 seconds you have, you can just read if you want. Not reading, skimming. Okay. It's not a complete reading. You can just skimming. Whatever is there. Okay. Whatever you are seeing at that time, you can just mark. If it is an important thing, you can just underline. Okay, if you underline here, respiratory device, all those things you can underline here, then enteral feeding you can underline. Sometimes that will be your answer, sometimes it may not. Okay, so here then traumatic, then again gastroesophageal reflex, then reinsertion, aspiration, all those things if you want you can underline. Otherwise no need, this is actually enough.
Yeah, that
The
is.
thing is, within 2 minutes you need to skim. Then only you can manage. Okay, within 2 minutes you need to skim. Then within 2 minutes you need to complete your 1 to 7 answers. Okay, then 8 to 14 question you need to complete within 4 minutes. Then again 15 to 20 question you need to complete within 4 minutes. So total you can complete these questions within 10 to 12 minutes. So 2 minutes for your skimming.
Okay.
Okay. Then 2 minutes for your 1 to 7 questions. It is enough. Within 1 to 2 minutes, definitely you can complete it. 1 to 7 questions. Okay. Then next 3 to 4 minutes for 8 to 14 question. Okay. That question answer type. Sometimes it will be 8 to 14. Sometimes it will be 8 to 15. Whatever it is, you need to complete that within 3 to 4 minutes. Fine. Then the next part, 15 to 20 or 16 to 20, whatever it is, that you need to complete within 3 to 4 minutes again. So you can complete all these 20 questions within 10 to 12 minutes time maximum. After that, you will get 3 minutes time for checking your answers, whether the answers are right, any spelling mistakes. Okay. So you must proofread. Otherwise, you will think like, oh, I know the spelling. But sometimes because of the exam tension and all, you may write wrong spellings. So you have to be very careful.
Thank you. It is well explained.
So you can also take one part, okay? You can also do like this, highlight the words, take a session that will improve your confidence as well as your competency. Okay. Sometimes you may understand one part A. The other aspirants may not. Okay, so you can just explain to them like this, you got the answer like this. you have practiced. All those things you can share.
Excuse
In
me,
Edu Skills, it's all about sharing your knowledge to others. Those who are ready to support others, we are ready to support you.
Sure, ma'am.
Yeah, so I have request to everybody, please be active in the platform. Please inform your friends regarding this free platform. Okay, hope you all know we are not charging even single rupee for any of our services, even for materials, for other session or student faculty session, whatever it is, we are not charging. So please share to your friends. Add at least one member daily to our platform. Okay, to our Edu Skills family. See if anybody willing to take session, please contact admins. Definitely will help you. Okay. Part A was very nice, but you need to score 20 out of 20.
I promise you.
Very nice or very difficult, whatever it is, we need your score to be 20 out of 20. That's it.
I promise you, I'll do.
If you're scoring 20 out of 20, definitely you'll get more than 400, we are sure. Okay. Should be easy. If you practice well with good, if you're practicing like a good quality practice, then definitely.
Sure, ma'am.
Okay, so there is no tough material, easy material, nothing like that. It's all depends on your practice, how you are practicing. It's not like if you are practicing hundreds of materials, then you will get 20 out of 20 in part A. No, nothing. It's nothing like that. Okay. If you're practicing only 5 materials, you should be clear about what they have asked you, what the question types is, what are the keywords they have discussed there, what are the synonyms they have discussed, synonymous language, paraphrasing, everything you have to know. Okay. And if somebody asked you regarding a particular question, you should be ready to explain. Yeah. Okay. You should be ready to answer. Like this I got. Like that you have to be competent.
Yeah. Same material we can practice also, no? Again and again.
Yeah, sure. When you practice, you'll get maybe something like when you are doing the first attempt, if you are a beginner, then you can't score like 20 out of 20, right?
Okay.
The same material you can practice. But don't think like, oh, the answer, I know the answer of this particular question, so I don't want to see that paragraph. I'll just simply write. No. Read the question, identify the text. You need to move to that text, read that text and answer it. If you know the answer by heart also, you need to do like that.
Okay.
Sometimes when you will do the second time or third time the same material, you may feel like, anyway, I know the answer, right? Then I'll write here. No need to move to the text and read the text. I'll just simply write. No, it's nothing like that. You have to find out the keyword, understand from which text it is, move to that text, find out the answer and write.
Okay, ma'am.
Material. What material? For practicing material. Yeah, it will be in our Telegram platform, file segment. Materials are available, you can check. Otherwise, you can join in the application. Okay, apps.eduskills.org. So you can just join in that application there. Also, it is there. Even in our Telegram file segment, it is there. So you can take the material and practice it.
And can you repeat application?
Edu Skills applications.
I am member, yeah.
Yeah, in that materials are available. Okay, app.eduskills.org.in. That is the website address.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Arya. നല്ല സൂപ്പർ ക്ലാസ് കേട്ടോ.